welcome back to another video about a children's trading card game. It's another Vanguard video. Set 2 is out in Japan, so we have finally got the whole set list, lots to discuss, but before we get into that, firstly, thank you to Sundial, my simian level supporter, much appreciated for your support, and I apologise for the somewhat sporadic, weird upload schedule. I've been swamped with work for all of June. You're seeing this near the end of June, and I will be for another few weeks in July. So I apologise for that. Should be back on track in July for the English release of obviously this set, a Clash of Legends or Brush with Legends, whatever it's called, as well as Onslaught of the Evil Gods or something, the Gate Ruler second set as well. So when both of those come out in English, I should be back on schedule. Anyway, enough preamble. Let's go ahead and get started with this set review, and this is going to be for Dragon Empire. So let's get started. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the encounter cards, the encounter ride line. I think I've sort of made my opinion fairly clear. I'm not overly keen on the encounters, but they're not that big a deal. I would say as far as nostalgia goes, this is probably the best it's been done in Vanguard, though of course Vanguard is a game that is kind of notorious for doing it really badly, so is what it is. This seems pretty fine though. So we've got Lizard Undo here. This is your starter. Cool. Going through the ride line, then we've got Embodiment of Armor Bar. When it is rode upon by Naharlem, you can counterblast one, search your deck for up to one grade 1 card, reveal it and put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. And on rear, once per turn, when your Vanguard's attack hits, this unit gets plus 5k till the end of the turn. So it becomes a 13k booster. The 13k boost is 8. Doesn't really seem that spectacular, because by nature of how Draconic Overlord's skill works, you're probably going to be able to get this off when you want to get it off. But really, you are playing it for that first skill, which is really, really good. Obviously, searching any grade 1 is amazing, and this is going right back to the start of the game. Those of you who played way back, like 10 years ago now, right? Bar is a crazy starter. You could just search any grade 1. Not Bar, Conroe. And this is basically the Conroe skill. And of course, we're back to Perfect Guards being grade 1s. So yeah, this is amazing. Really, really, really good. To the extent that it makes me kind of want to just play this normally. It's just really strong. Next, we've got Dragon Knight Naharlem. When this unit is rode upon by a unit with Overlord in its card name, call this to rear. So you are just going to straight up get this dude back, which is really good. Act rear once per turn. If you have Vanguard with Overlord in its card name, Soul Blast 1, and this unit and all of your Vanguards get plus 5k till the end of the turn. So that's just really nice. Soul Blast, pretty cheap cost, makes us a 15k attacker, 23 with an 8k booster, obviously 28 with a bar behind it if your Vanguard attack hits, which it should do, and you're going to be making your Overlord an 18k attacker on its own with that. So yeah, just very solid, and obviously the phrasing, I suppose, is pretty good for premium. But yeah, very reasonable card there, really, really decent. And then of course we have got the big boy himself, the reason you're playing this deck. Draconic Overlord. Continues on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. During the battle this unit attacked a Rearguard, your opponent cannot call cards from their hand to Guardian. So that's quite nice. And auto on Vanguard once per turn. When this attack hits, counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, stand this unit, and it gets -1 drive to the end of the turn. So, amazing pressure, really good ability to just remove rears, get more drive checks, or just pressure the Vanguard super hard. Just a really, really solid, strong card. Yeah, I mean, not much more to say about it than that. It just seems very strong, very fair. Not oppressive or anything, just strong, scary pressure. Yeah, just really, really solid. And of course, kind of potentially nuts with the overtrigger. And I will sort of talk more about overtriggers at the end of the video. I don't want to sort of clutter that now, but yeah, really, really solid. Seems very fair, as I say, in my opinion. And I think a good addition to the meta in terms of the skill. Onto the other encounter cards, there are just a couple left. There's Dragon Monk Gojo here, this is generic. When the attack of this unit boosted, a Vanguard hits, retire this unit countercharge 1, so countercharging doesn't really seem like the deck necessarily needs it, but this is like just kind of nice to have. I don't know, potentially Virena might want to play this, but yeah, nice option to have. And Berserk Dragon, when this unit attacks, if you have an Overlord Vanguard, this gets plus 5k until the end of that battle, so 15k attacker, again, nice. And then you can counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards and retire it. So yeah, this is a staple rear in the Draconic Overlord deck, really, really good. Yeah, just a staple 4. I like good removal, 15k attacker, just generically strong. Good card is good. On to the main stuff. And we're going to kick off with the triple rare Virina Urga. So this is the cover card of the whole set. It overdresses over Trickstar and has an auto from hand. At the end of the battle, your Trickstar attack to Vanguard. If your Vanguard is Nirvana, Soul Blast 2, overdress this card on your Trickstar on rear as stand and countercharge 1. So that's really, really nice. And continuous on rear and Guardian. If this unit is in the overdress state, it gains plus 10k power and plus 10k shield. So very reminiscent of the grade 3. This is going to be 20k on both turns, obviously once it's overdressed, and it's going to be 15k shield, so you can just throw it away. This deck has lots of ways, some originally from set 1, but even more in this set of just getting back those Trickstars, which is really, really good. So you can cycle through those very easily. And this is also, an attack extender. This is going to give you a 4th attack and potentially more as we go through the support. You'll see this does 5 attacks fairly easily. Just a really nice piece of support here that I feel like slots into the original Nirvana deck pretty easily. You don't really have to build around it if you don't want to, but of course you absolutely can build a deck specifically around using this guy. And we'll see builds diverge for a time, I think, until we figure out which is better, and then everyone will sort of go down that route. So by the time we get the set in English, we should know really what is best. But yeah, really, really solid card, very fair again, good attack extender. It's fairly heavily costed. Soul Blast 2, yes, you do get the counter charge, which is really, really nice, don't get me wrong, that is a big deal. But yeah, very, very fair, very, very fair. No real issues with this card, just very solid. I think a really nice addition to the deck. Blazing Fist Monk Damari. This is another card that's really, really nice for the deck. At the end of the battle, it attacked. Auto on rear, you can counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's front or rear guards, retire it, and if your Vanguard's Nirvana, you can call a grade 0 from a drop. So obviously the way this is going to work, a very standard option might be to swing with Nirvana first. You're going to get all that buff or whatever to your other column, which you assume will probably be some sort of overdressed unit. Then you will swing with this unboosted, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, get the retire, swing into Vanguard, or maybe you can swing with this first as well. That's another option if you just want to do that 13 poke, force a 5k shield. Then retire a rear guard, and then you call a Trickstar over this unit, and you're going to boost the Trickstar on the next attack. So if it's an 8k booster behind it, then it is going to be hitting 13 again, so you can just do those little niggles, little fives. And then at the end of that 5k attack, you can then overdress, and then potentially you can then swing a Nirvana after that, and get your buffs. Options, lots of options. Of course, that's going to be really scary on Persona Ride turns. Once you're buffing that 10k, then suddenly those are big attacks. Probably worth saving the sort of combo until that Persona Ride turn, where it's going to be really, really scary. This just seems like a very easy inclusion of a few copies just for that combo, just to sort of basically on your kill turn with a Persona Ride, just be really quite scary. Really, 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 really nice. Big fan of this card. Next, we've got Stealth Dragon Togachirashi. When this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, you may put this card into your soul. Whilst that is a fine ability, I have no idea why you would ever dedicate deck space to this unless you were so tight on soul. But there's not that many discard cards. Your main way is going to be discarding for Ride deck, and that outlives its usefulness fairly quickly. So you're kind of mulliganing for this card, which is really. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this card. I think maybe it'll be good in the future, and that's potentially why it's here as a piece of support that will be really nice later on, but at the moment I just don't see it. Dragrita Idris. Act on rear. If your opponent's rear guard was retired this turn, lots of ways to do that. Counterblast 1 and perform one of the following. This unit gets 10k to the end of the turn, or put this unit into your soul, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guards, and retire it. So this is obviously, very nice in Eugene, and going to slot right in there. It's also good in premium, but whatever. Good in premium. It functions in premium. There's synergy there, 5k power and such. But yeah, very, very nice option. Counterblast 1 for an additional retire. You are losing this, but it does go to soul, so not the worst thing in the world. Being able to extend your retires is pretty nice. But again, it seems kind of mediocre, not like anything special. Easy enough to play around if you're worried about it. It has to be on I don't think it's that strong. It's certainly not going to be what pushes Eugene into the top tiers. Next, we've got Strong Fortress Dragon Juba Brachio. If your Vanguard is Eugene, Soul Blast 1, rest this unit, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Really nice. And at the start of your battle phase, if your opponent has one or less rear guards, stand this unit and it gets 5k. So this is a staple in Eugene, I feel. This is a really, really nice bit of support. This is the kind of thing the deck really needed from day one. You know, you're resting, like your whole deck felt like it didn't really have a game plan. Now it kind of does. This is sort of helping. Still feels really underpowered, but getting this sort of really cheap retire like Soul Blast 1 and Rest to retire something that's just going to go ahead and restand because you know you've got the retires to be able to do that. Eugene could potentially be a real control deck now, real sort of threat potentially. This is a really, really nice card. I really am a fan of this. Yeah, I think it's really, really solid. Blazebane and Tanya, when it's placed on rear guard, you can counterblast 1, choose a grade 0 from your drop zone, call it a rear circle, and auto on rear. When it attacks, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your grade 0 units, and it gets 5k until the end of the turn. Personally, I really don't see the need for this because you have ways to just get back like your trick stars. With Nirvana, you can do that every turn, and you know you're unlikely to want to call to a turn, and you've got other ways as well. You know, like if you do, I just really feel like this is unnecessary, and it's taking counterblast. Like that deck needs its counterblast. Like it has a lot of skills that it wants to counterblast for, and you're always using one every single turn from Nirvana. So like, I just don't think this really fits. Yeah, I'm just really not a fan of this at all. Blaze Maiden Parama. So this is our new front triggers, and everyone's going to be getting these. And they are 15k shields that become 20k once your opponent hits grade 3. Of course, you know, some decks that are just not going to want to play fronts at all, this is not really a great buff at all. But decks that were playing fronts already kind of just get this additional bit of defense, which is really, really nice. I'm glad to see this little bit of defensive creep in the game. It's a small way to fixing the issue that's currently present in the game, which I will talk about as I say at the end in sort of the wrap up. But yeah, this is a nice card, very, very reasonable. Definitely will see play in any deck that wants to be playing front triggers and can potentially incentivize you wanting to play them anyway. Really, really nice. Horn of Blessing, play this with discard and overdress from your hand, draw 2. So on the surface, you see this and you go, oh, well, it's just it's a draw 2, it's filter, it's great. But I don't know. Realistically, when is this going to be useful? Probably earlier in the game to sort of fix a hand or get set up. I don't know. Like, it's sort of like. In my experience with the deck, like it can plus really hard if you hit your like arcs early on, and then you can kind of just chill. I don't know. I don't really know that you'd want to be one that you're really able to dedicate the deck space to this, or two that you'd really want to. It seems kind of noob trappy in my opinion. Like you kind of see Pot of Greed and you go ooh, but yeah, I don't think it's that good. I think this is a card that's kind of over, like. I feel like because it's a grade 3 order, I really don't want to play it because I just can't use it early. If this was a grade 0 order, then okay, now we're talking. Now I can fix starting hands potentially. This is maybe something decent, but the fact is you're restricted to the sort of mid-game onwards anyway. Like, you've had opportunity to get the cards you need. You know, you've had drive checks, you've had your opening hand filter. Yeah, I don't really like this card. Volcanic Gun Dragon, this is just an 18k attacker. Seems okay. Crossrock Dragon. When this is placed on rear, choose one of your opponent's rear guards. You may move it to your opponent's front row rear. This is a really cool option that will be meta dependent, I think. Not like obviously super strong, but like if the meta was full of these decks that call things to back row because they need them to set up, and you can just go, nope, move that to front. I'm going to attack it now, or I'm going to retire it now. Really, really, really nice. So a meta-dependent card that I think you should probably own a playset of. Drag Risen Asir. When it intercepts, if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, this gets plus 10 gauge shield until the end of the battle. I really don't know how often that's going to be a thing you get off. It feels kind of worthless to me because, like, when is your opponent, like, they know you've got this, right? Like, so, like, already if they're playing against Eugene, they're going to be playing a little differently, right? Like, they're not necessarily going to be doing their standard game plan because they are going to be worried about, like, losing the whole board. So yeah, I feel like, I don't know, or maybe you want to, like, however, yeah, I just don't think this is a good card. Like, it seems really not great. Mount Cannon, auto on front row rear. When your grade 0 attacks, this unit and the unit that attack gain plus 5k until the end of the turn. I don't really know why you'd ever play this though over your other options. Stealth Dragon, Kizan Reiji, act on rear once per turn, counterblast 1 and soul blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear cards in the same column of this unit and retire it. I really like this card. I think this is cool. Just a really nice option to have, very flexible. You know, it's anything, so you can kind of just snipe stuff. Really, really nice. Obviously, it's not going to be able to snipe everything, but yeah, really, really just good. You know, and it's you will be able to use it multiple times per game potentially. It's going to be always threatening that column it's in. So your opponent's going to be scared of it. You know, if you're a deck that can generate the resources to kind of abuse this, then yeah, this is really, really nice. I'm a fan of this card. I like it quite a lot. Blaze Fist Monk Enten, auto on rear. When they attack this unit boosted hits, Soul Blast 1, retire this unit, choose one of your units, and it gets 10k until the end of the turn. I get it, but I'm really not a fan of it. I don't know that you'd want to dedicate your deck space to this, but it seems okay. Like, this is one of the ones where maybe it's an 8k booster normally, so you're kind of getting something decent there, and then, you know, like, as soon as it hits, you can buff something else up, make it really scary. Potentially. Seems okay. Blaze Maiden Aruna, love the artwork. During the battle, this unit boosted grade 0, this unit gets plus 5k, so again, if you're really going heavy into this sort of trick star strategy, this is really nice. But, you know, to what extent does that fit in? Where's the deck space? You know, there's a lot of really good cards you want to play, and the deck space is already quite tight in set 1, and you've got even more cards you want to be playing in set 2, so again, sort of like, seems pretty meh. Blaze Maiden Zara, during your turn, if Ryu or Reno is on your Vanguard rear circle, this gets plus 5k, so it becomes 11k booster. I can see this being part of a very viable rush strategy, potentially sort of using those cards because, you know, that's, I believe Reno is the 10k attacker. You know what, let's just double check so I don't look like an idiot. I believe it's, yeah, so, you know, this is a 10k attacker early on, and Ryu is you know, a 12k attacker, so with 11k makes it 23. So, you know, like, pretty solid columns, potentially a rush strategy there, potentially, we'll see. Probably wouldn't necessarily want to play it normally, but you know, worth giving it a go. Flame Dragon Bomber is our penultimate card. Choose one of your vanguards until the end of the turn. It gets when all of your units would attack, they may attack your opponent's back row rear guard. Now, this is a card I think is definitely gonna like be high in. Oh, maybe I want to play this because it fits into any strategy. It's not like an option you have to play. It basically doesn't have a cost. It just lets you go, oh, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and you know, just be able to remove anything. I feel like this is also probably quite good in premium. But yeah, just in terms of, this is an option that's great. Like, really, really nice. Probably going to drive your opponent a bit crazy if you can, like, you know, just keep sniping their stuff. And, you know, like, it's not like you're negging either. Like, you know, you're still going to be able to get your drive checks and everything. Like, you're not necessarily applying Vanguard pressure, but that's not always a bad thing. I really, really like this card. I'm a big fan. And finally, Prayers That Will Reach Someday. Play this with Soul Blast 1. If you have a rear card with the overdress ability, choose one of your units and it gets 15k until the end of that battle. So it's 15k Blitz Order. Cost Soul Blast 1. Not too hot on that. If it was 20k, then that would be a different story. But yeah, 15k Blitz Order. Not overly hot on this. I feel like you'd rather play the one from set 1. But there we go. That's it. So what do I think? Well, I think it's really fair. All the support looks really, really fair, really pretty well balanced. I'm very happy with the power level. Nothing seems too strong. Nothing seems too weak, really, either. Eugene looks a lot more viable, so it's all good. The only real problem I have is all of this really good design is completely overshadowed by the existence of overtriggers, and also Bruce just being a bit silly. We'll talk about that more in the Dark States review, which obviously you'll be able to watch, you know, as long as you hit subscribe. Nice. Like the video, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, of course. But yeah, you'll be able to see all that there. But yeah, like overtriggers for me, it's way too. I've harped on about it enough. I mean, you will have seen now over the BCS weekends just how ridiculously impactful they were. It's not fun, in my opinion. So yeah, until the game is crept to such an extent where overtriggers don't really matter. I'm not going to be playing competitively in tournaments, more than likely. I'll just be playing with friends where we can just remove them from our decks and have a great time. But there we go. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like the video, subscribe to the channel for Vanguard content, and I will see you guys in the next review, which will be in a few days after this one. I think there's some cool gate ruler stuff coming up though. If you're interested in that game, of course, check out my other videos. Alright, see you in the next one. Cheers.